This is the performing songwriter, and my name is Ray Naylor. My guest today is Sharon Bousquet. She is not only a performing songwriter, but also a writer, a vocal coach, a teacher, and more. She has 7 released recordings and has been a finalist in several songwriting award competitions. I'll be back to talk to Sharon in a few minutes, but first, here she is singing one of her original songs on the Performing Songwriter.
This song is called Myself for Living, and I wrote it quite a few years ago when I was thinking about how, as a child, as an artist child, you're often told you need something to fall back on. And this song is for all the artists out there who heard as you were growing up, you need something to fall back on. This is Myself for Living. It's not I want the big house, it's not I need a new car. It's more that I've been poured into a small clay jar. It's more push inside, it's like the voice of God telling me to make the best of what I'm given, be myself for a living. I have a heart-wrecked home, the one I love is sailing, happy on a sea of my tears and a boat of my failings. It's like a push inside, it's like the voice of God telling me to make the best of what I'm given, be myself for a living. Be myself for a living. You might think it's fame that calls, but it's really not the point at all. This is who I am. It's my wedding band. It's my wedding band. So if you hurt like dying, or if your heart's on fire, either way is true as a pathway through desire. To take that push inside as the voice of God telling you to make the best of what you're given, be yourself for a living. Be yourself for a living. I recall a vow once spoken long before I was a girl, something like a mission, gifts we carry for this world. To take that push inside as the voice of God telling you to make the best of what you're given, be yourself for a living. Be yourself for a living. I'll be myself for a living. Be myself for a living.
Sharon Bousquet.
Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Ray.
You're welcome. Like your song you just did.
Thank you.
That's really great.
Thanks.
Now, you've lived in quite a number of places.
Yes.
Has your music always traveled with you?
Yeah, that's pretty much why I traveled as much as I did. I had a very flexible partner, and we would get in the car and move when one or the other of us wanted to be someplace to facilitate a career move, I guess. So I've lived in Austin and Vancouver, BC, and Santa Cruz, California, and many different beautiful places. Iowa.
How long have you been writing songs?
I started writing poems when I was a young teen, and then I did the switch to songwriting when I was 19. I was working at the Sam Goody record store in Wilmington off of Concord Pike, and I grabbed a guitar off the wall during a quiet moment. I was a cashier at that time, and I started playing. And ever since then, it's been a love affair.
Now, you have 7 released albums over the time.
Right.
So you have a lot of songs.
I do.
Where do your ideas for your songs come from?
Well, gosh, all different kinds of things. Mostly it's just relationships with people, life. I'm not one that watches the news or, I have actually gone in the library when I wanted to write a song and looked at the spines of the books and gotten inspiration from book titles, which I recommend for young writers. It's actually great inspiration. A lot of book titles make great song titles. So
cool. You have had some of your songs in independent films and the like. Just talk about that process, because I know I've always run into songwriters that would love to have their music licensed in films. So how does that work for you, and any suggestions maybe you can give to people?
Right. Well, it's been a really wonderful process. What happened with me is I met a filmmaker who was an up-and-coming filmmaker. I was in Idlewild, California, up in the pine trees, inland from Los Angeles. It's a wonderful community. It's been a writer's community for a really long time. It's in the mountains. It's very beautiful. And I was there staying there with a friend, and I met a filmmaker at the local coffee shop. And we were sitting outside under the pines, and we talked for hours. We just had a real great connection. And so that man, Stephen Savage, was my first introduction into writing for film. And so I put music into a couple of his films. When his films got larger, his budgets were larger, he contacted me. Mm-hmm. And it was right when I was in the studio. I think I was in the studio with Chris Gage in Austin recording Temple. And he said, if you want to send me all of the tracks, the sans vocal tracks and the full album tracks, then we'd like to use some of the material in the film, and they did. That was Cosmic Radio, and that was the first one that I got some music into. And then I've done some promotional films for a friend of mine is a fine artist, and he needed a promotional film of 3-4 minutes. To promote his art, and it was an installation in a gallery. Mm-hmm. And so there are all these different places where you can have your music be a part of a video or film project. My suggestions would be to go to film festivals and meet filmmakers, go to film schools, or connect with them in other ways online. And all these young filmmakers and up-and-coming filmmakers need music for their movies. And so that's a great place to start to get a feel for the process, because the process can be very different. In my case, I was taking music that I had already recorded. And so whatever you have, like I have 7 albums worth of material, I wish for every album that I had gotten the what they call the TV tracks, which is when you take the vocals off and then you have just the music underneath. And then you can tweak that and add things and subtract it. And because when you take the vocals off of a vocal piece, there is some tweaking that usually needs to be done to have it sound, like you want it to. But that's my number one suggestion, was when you're recording an album, always get the TV tracks, because you can use them for other applications.
Right. That's interesting. Never thought of that.
Yeah.
You teach a thing called the singing body. Talk about what that is.
It is amazing. I have been either a student of or a teacher of the singing body for like 30 years now. And my teacher, Edwin Coppard, and his wife are the founders of this work. It combines singing exercises, bo, 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 that kind of thing, with vocal exercises, with breathing exercises, and I guess there's a lot of knowledge that comes out of this workshop. So there's breathing exercises, singing exercises, a little bit of yoga, and educational kinesiology, which is movement that balances the hemispheres of your brain so that you learn more easily, and that when the fears come up, they just don't come up so far. They are quieted. Those voices in your head that are like, I'm an alto, I'm not a soprano, I can't sing up there, I can't sing down there, what's going to happen, any fears that come up, all that stuff is just mitigated by both the distraction element of doing these odd exercises while you're singing and the actual integration that this work does for your brain. And it's really incredible stuff. It's wonderful work. I highly recommend it.
How do people get involved with that?
You go to my website, or you can go on Facebook. I have a Singing Body Seminar is the name of the page, and you can find me there through that page, or SharonBousquet.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you have a thing also called Love Biz Music.
Love Buzz.
Love Buzz Music.
Yeah.
And that is...
That's actually just the umbrella, the name of the umbrella that under which I do all this music stuff. So I do film music, and I do the singing body, and I teach voice and guitar and songwriting and all of these different things that I've done. It was all under that umbrella.
Now, it seems like you've had a spiritual journey.
Yes.
And how has that affected your songwriting, would you say?
Oh, boy. It affects everything. It's the basis of everything. So I feel like we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And so if you can look at things from a broader perspective, step back from the duality that we're always dealing with. It's right, it's wrong, it's good, it's bad, it's all those kinds of things. What happens is we end up creating stories about everything that happens. But really, if you can just be a realist, be present and be a realist, this thing is happening, and it just is. It's not good or bad. It's not, one way or another. We don't have to attach the stories that come from our history, which is what creates suffering, are the stories that we create, that we attach to things. And so all of that is that's all fodder for the writing and for feeling alive and excited and anticipatory about life. And all of that is certainly reflected in how you write and how you feel and how life goes forward.
Okay. We're going to hear some more of your songs.
Okay.
And before that, I'm going to play a slideshow of our next guest. And she also has a name that I have to look at the phonetic spelling at. Her name is Nikki Spafoni. And this particular song that we're going to hear is called Firefly. So we'll watch that now, and then Sharon will be back with some more songs.
Like a firefly caught in a restless wind, no control of my fragile wings. Which way up or down, which way left or right, holding fast, searching for my brother's light. If you catch me, hold me gently. Please be careful to let me breathe. If my light dazzles you, if my flight hassles you, let me know, then set me free. Oh, like a firefly sparking in the trees, and like a firefly floating in the summer breeze, I go where I please, where my light guides me.
This next song is about being human. It's called We All Fall Down. Grace is lovely until it's not. Praise is holy till the name is lost. Grace comes slowly till it mows you down, and you see so clearly from the ground, from the ground. Love's a carrot until it's not. If you can bear it when the pen is hot, naked hearts can burn through walls built to save us from the fall. From the fall. 'Cause we all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down. And our beginning thy will be done. We're all spinning, we've set the sun. Grace comes slowly and the lost are found, as we take each moment straight to the sacred ground. 'Cause we all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down. Yes, we all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall So this next song is called Swim This, and it was written some years ago when a friend was having a difficult time with a breakup, and it just came in one download. I had the lyrics within 20 minutes, and within an hour, hour and a half, it was complete. Chords, melody, everything. It's become one of my favorite songs. It's Swim This. If your face is wet from a love you can't forget, your heart smoking an ocean of regret, taking your days as you learn how to swim this craziness. To swim this. The words you said, and those unspoken think it through as you learn how to swim these blues. To swim this, where's the love you put on that pedestal? You took is the best of all you gave in a fit of falling, of falling, of falling. A new one to hold you, new one to ease those blues, good friends to enfold you, till you know you can lose love and still choose love somewhere new and swim. Lo-do-dee-oh, lo-do-dee-oh. Swim this, swim this, swim this. So if your face is wet from a love you can't forget, just swim this. This is a little bit of a different guitar style than I've been doing so far, and I really enjoy playing this piece. I hope you'll enjoy it too. Agile as a lizard's tongue, sidestep moving, she is gone. Wake start to a rumbling train, an empty bed, heart rain. Standard as this plain guitar, heartache stirs. There you are. We move from hurt to anger's lair, but we take it to the house of care. Love it down, love it down, love it down. Hold my aces close and tight, wrestling with the game tonight. As all the cards, symbols thrown, tumble through the air. And all agile as a lizard's tongue, sidestep moving, she is gone. Wake start to a rumbling train, an empty bed, and a hard rain.
That was a slide of upcoming shows, and as a matter of fact, those are the last shows of this performing songwriter. We're going to 100 songs.
He's leaving us. Isn't it amazing? 100 shows. Wow.
Now, I wanted to ask you about, as I mentioned before, you have 7 recordings.
Correct.
This is your most recent,
That's my latest, yeah.
latest, Ricochet. Talk about that. You can talk about any of your CDs, but especially talk about your most recent one.
Yeah, Ricochet, it took about 4 years to record this album. There was a lot going on in the life of the band that I was with at the time. I was living in Iowa. It was recorded in Fairfield, Iowa, which is a very unusual little town. Actually, Oprah came and did a special on it. It's so unusual. There are people from all over the world there. The small school that my boys went to had kids from 52 different countries. They're really just a very international, very well-educated community there in this Iowa farm town, which that contrast initially was a challenge, and over the years it's just become a very copacetic thing. It's all an amazing place to live. And so the album was recorded there with Tim Britton, whose family was one of the founders of the Philadelphia Folk Fest. His father was a very famous music teacher in the city, and his mother, I think, taught as well. Anyway, and his sisters were the Brittons, so it just really is the Britton sisters, I think, actually, that was. But anyway, so Tim recorded the album and played on it, and it was a culmination of a lot of difficult years and taking all of that fodder and putting out an album of hopefully of inspiration through life.
Now, I have to ask you something. You're obviously you're a songwriter and singer. You're also vocal coach, poet, writer, photographer, chef, maybe some more stuff. How do you balance all that?
Good question. I'm tired. Well, how do I balance that? I guess it's a moment-to-moment decision. Sometimes I don't get enough sleep, and sometimes I do. And it's really, I think that comes back to that intention to be present with whatever you're doing. And then you just get as much done as you can and move on to the next thing. I think that inspiration and imagination are a big part of it. And I intend to let that lead the way of what's next. Aside from the fact that you have to be at work at a certain time, things like that, but there's a lot of creativity that calls me, and I just keep my ears open.
Now, I want to ask, how can people learn more about you and learn about your music? Would be the best way for them to do that?
I have more profiles than I should all over the internet. You can Google my name and you will get a million of them, but I do have a new website, and it's SharonBousquet.com, and I'll spell that for you. It's SHARON, B as in boy, OUS as in Sam, QUET.com.
Sharon, thank you very much for being a guest.
Thank you very much, Ray. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be back in a couple of weeks with Nikki Spafoni. I'm going to have to learn that.
Good job.
See you then.